Okay. There might be others up here who might disagree with that, but okay. Okay, we're going to proceed with today's agenda. The first meeting is an organizational meeting. The committee intends to hear invited testimony only from the individuals, agencies, and associations under the committee's jurisdiction. If a member of the public wishes to provide comments regarding today's agenda, they're encouraged to submit written comments via the portal posted on the hearing notice. Members, I ask that you reserve your questions till the end of each panel. For the first panel, the chair calls its first witness. The chair calls Mr. Eddie Trevino, Executive Director of the State Energy Conservation Office. Good morning, Mr. Trevino. Thank you for being here today. Please state your name, who you represent, and your position on today's proceedings.
My name is Eddie Trevino. I'm the Director of the State Energy Conservation Office. We work as a fiscal program within the Comptroller of Public Accounts, and I have no positions on today's meeting.
We'll just show you neutral on today's proceedings.
Thank you, sir.
With that, begin your testimony.
All right. Good morning, Chairman Darby and committee members. It's an honor to be here today. What I'm going to give you today is an overview of our office, the State Energy Conservation Office. I believe all of y'all should have presentation copies of slides that we submitted earlier. If you'll go to slide number 2, what you'll see is that every state, every territory, and the District of Columbia all have a state energy office. And our office is a designated state energy office for the state of Texas. Now, all of the states fund their offices in different ways. Some use, all of them receive formula federal funding. Some have competitive awards, and all of them are reimbursement-based awards as well. With the state of Texas, we focus only on formula funding for those types of awards that we receive to operate our office. You'll notice that the general revenue that we receive, we use that as match for those awards. So they're critical for us, they're very important, and that's what we use to help supplement the project sizes and supplement our ability to help others in this state. The next two slides 3 and 4, I'm going to give you an overview of the awards that we receive that are federal awards. On page 3, these are the awards that we receive on an annual basis. The first one is the State Energy Program Award. That's an annual formula award. Last year, for FY25, we received a little over $4 million. These are 3-year grants. We're in the last year of the 3-year grant cycle. So next year for FY26 will be another grant cycle for which we've already received the administrative and legal requirements document to submit an application. And that application is due on May 2nd. So we're putting projects together for next year's funding. We also have a direct award for the Pantex program. That's a 5-year award. You'll see that it's $8.3 million in totality over the 5-year term, and it ends on September 30th of 2026. And then finally, we are a subrecipient to the Southern States Energy Board for the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant. And that particular grant, which is a 5-year award also, ends on June 30th of 25. So we're in the process of putting an application together to submit to the Southern States Energy Board for the next 5 years worth of funding for that project. On slide 4, what you'll see are funds that we've received by formula for Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act programs, and also for the Inflation Reduction Act. These awards that we've received for the state energy program, you can see that it includes funding for updating our state energy security plan, The end date of that particular grant is going to be June 30th of 2028. It's 33 million. What we've done is we're equally splitting the 33 million into fiscal years to provide a steady flow of funds to help taxpayers. To date, we have contracted and awarded $9.2 million. It's 41 projects. And a lot of those projects are nearing completion for this fiscal year, and then we'll be issuing an RFP or an request for application for next year's tranche of funding. On the energy, we are also awarded through formula an Energy Efficiency Revolving Loan Fund award, and that is 22 million. The end date for those funds to put those funds to use is July 31st of 2029. We just completed our first round of notice of loan fund availability, and we're analyzing those applications to decide which projects that we will fund. And that's for the Energy Efficiency Revolving Loan Fund. Then you'll see the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant Program. This is targeting those smaller cities and counties that did not receive direct awards from the Department of Energy. So that's our target audience. We received $4.8 million in funding for those. We have made 28 awards to date, and so we're ready to do our ASHRAE level audit, engineering audit analysis, and then move forward in those projects as soon as we can. Those are all of the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act funds that we received, again, by formula. Now, on the last three lines, these are conditional awards that we've received. And the first one is the homes. That's the whole house weatherization, single family and multifamily weatherization for homes. And that is 50121 is the statute number for that. I always remember everything by the number. And so you'll see in that conditional award, it extends through June 30th of 2029, and that's 345 million. And then you'll see the HERE program, which is 50122, that's the appliance rebate program. And we received a conditional award of 344 million for that program. And that program also extends to June 30th of 2029. And then last, we have the Home Energy Efficiency Contractor Training Program, also a conditional award. This purpose of this program is to train small contractors so that they can participate in the homes program and so that they can have their ability to help the homes as well. And that award is $11.6 million. So you can see we've got a variety of awards that we received there that are federal awards. On slide 5, you'll see our target audience. If it's a taxpayer public supported entity, that's our primary audience. We work a lot with public K-12 education institutions. We work a lot with local and county governments, state agencies, public hospitals, and quasi-governmental entities. Now, it could be like a municipal utility district, they would qualify. It could be like a hospital district that's a taxpayer supported, they would qualify as well. So that's our target audience. Our activities are behind the meter, okay? So if it's between the utility meter and the building and inclusive of the building and the surrounding land, that's where we operate. Anything on the other side of the meter.
Until a couple of years before that, maybe around 2000.
Takes care of that. So we're focused on helping strictly as well as we can the end users, and that's where our focus is. And then if you go to slide 6, our programs are grouped into the following categories. You'll see we have education, energy education and training. We have technical assistance programs. We also provide administrative support for clean energy technology incubators. And then we have our flagship Lone Star Revolving Loan Program. That's a program that's been in place since 1986. We're happy to say during the life of that program, we've never had a default in the history of the program. We serve only public entities. We're very proud of that fact, and it's my job to not let it happen while I'm in charge here. And then we have our statutory activities, which is the reporting, like the utility manager reporting, the local government reporting, municipal-owned utility and co-op reporting. We're also responsible for updating building energy codes and high-performance building standards, and then also water conservation codes. And then we also adopt energy codes for state-funded buildings as well. What I'm going to give you on page 7 and beyond are just, you'll see results of how our program has operated and has done. The results you see for slide 7 are the economic impact that the energy incubators, we contract with 2 incubators, one out of University of Texas and the other out of Texas A&M University. And so the economic impact of the companies that they nurture to get investment, to grow, and to have an impact in terms of jobs and on the state economic output, you can see that the impact is significant. The GDP contribution over the last year, or since 2022, is 36.7 million, and economic input or economic output is 79.8 million. So that's a significant impact that these incubators are having to benefit the state. If you go to slide 8, on our Lone Star revolving loan program, you'll see the location where all of the loans that we've made over the history of the program you can find that location on that map. The primary thing I want you to pay attention to are the utility savings at these programs. This is a low interest rate program where what you're doing is redirecting dollars that you'd be spending or given to the utility, and you're making capital energy efficiency improvements with those dollars. And then you use your utility savings to pay for your principal and interest of the loan. And over the history of the program, we've been able to save almost $866 million of utility savings over the life of the program. So it's been a very successful program. We're very proud of it. I think it's a really good, effective program. And again, we serve public entities. Our focus on these loans here is just the public K-12 schools, the school districts, the higher education institutions that are public, and state agencies as well. If you look at the slide 9, that's a review of our Watt Watchers program. And this is an education and energy literacy program for elementary school kids. And it's to teach them about saving energy. It's to teach them about how to use energy efficiently. This is a STEM-based educational curriculum that is available, and it's free to any school district, to any homeschooler. It's free to everybody in the state of Texas. And you'll see that with the website, it's attracted 65,000 viewers last year alone, which is a pretty high number. And we've impacted and reached over 300,000 students over the last year, which is a really high number. The University of Texas, who administers this program on our behalf, has worked with KLRN PBS to also promote the Watt Watchers program to elementary schools. And in 2023, they were able to, through their promotion, reach 18,800 members of the San Antonio community, and then 805 families who provide homeschooling and educational service events. So we're very proud of the impact that they're having. We actually have a San Antonio school district recently where they had empowered the elementary school students to give their teachers tickets if they didn't turn off their lights, if they didn't turn off their electric projectors, and if they didn't do that. And then they had a competition between the schools for about a 2-week period. Then at the end of the 2-week period, they had an assembly to see which classrooms were saving the most money and recognize the students, recognize the teachers, and build a culture that involved energy efficiency and energy conservation. So we're proud of that program. On slide number 10, that's a testimonial from a clean energy incubator client that was part of the A&M incubator. I'll let you read that, so I don't have to read that over to you. And then on slide number 11, you'll see testimonials from ISD recipients that have received awards from us, reimbursable grant awards for making energy efficiency lighting retrofits. We've had small school districts call us and say, can you help us? And fortunately, we've been able to help a lot of school districts. One of the big feedbacks that we've gotten, besides the utility savings, is like for schools where we've been able to replace the wall packs outside the school, it's just the safety. The teachers feel safe going out at night and going to their cars. That whenever they have after-school activities, people feel safe when they do that. And then also for the inside of the schools, my wife is a 32-year retired teacher, so this is near and dear to her. And she says that if you can improve the learning environment, these kids will just soak it up, and they'll be better students. They'll learn more, and so I'm a big believer in that. And fortunately, we've been able to put this belief into use and help a lot of the smaller school districts who might not have other resources get lighting retrofits or get chiller retrofits. So we've been able to do that through a combination of our grant program and our loan program, and we're very happy with the results that we're getting, and we'll continue doing that. Now, on slide 12 is my contact information. If you have any questions or want to learn more about what we're doing, I'd be more than happy to set time aside and meet with you and show you exactly what we're doing. Our contract managers are always happy to share what they're doing because they're very proud of what they're doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. I've been around a few sessions, and I've got to admit, some of this is news to me. And I think it's probably news to some of the members of this committee also, including the dean. This Lone Star program, explain that in a little more detail, because it appears to be a huge savings of $865,000. First, to clarify, all of these numbers that you show as part of these grant programs, these are all federal dollars, correct?
Everything but the Lone Star program. Now,
Okay.
the Lone Star program has some federal dollars intermixed with it, but it's predominantly oil overcharge funds. Those are the Exxon funds.
Okay. In an age where there's some focus upon federal spending, certainly through the Department of Energy and other agencies of the federal government, along with focus on that issue through our state, we have a Texas House Committee focusing in on that. Can you give us an assessment of where you think these grants are? Have you been led to believe that even though some of these end dates are in 2029, what is your assessment of the continuity of these programs based upon the information you have now?
Based upon the information I have now, my assessment is that the IIJ programs are going to go forward in their current format, but I have not received any definitive confirmation from the DOE on all of that quite yet.
Are you in communication with the DOE
Yes, I
about
am.
all this? I presume.
Yes, I had a meeting last Friday with them, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Okay, now with regard to the Lone Star program, explain how that works, the utility savings program, because
Sure.
clearly it's located all over the state, and I must confess I'm not familiar with the program advantages and who it's accessing and on what basis.
Sure. Two things. One is that this program originated as some settlement funds from the oil overcharge settlement accounts, and that's when it started in 1986. It was a demonstration program, and then it grew in 1990 to go out of the demonstration phase, and energy and ESPC, Energy Savings Performance Contracting, was allowed, and the payback period was extended. So it's grown just little by little after that. We manage the funds in-house. And so because we're able to manage funds for this loan program, we're able to charge a lower interest rate than the open market rate and below, in many instances, below the school bond rate. What the concept of the program is, every measure that you implement in a school, or let's use the school as an example, just because it's easy, and I'm thinking about it right now, but every measure you implement has to pay for itself within the estimated useful life of that measure, all right? And then the composite project has to pay for itself in 15 years or less. So what we require in this project is that we have what's called a utility assessment report, which is an investment grade audit that the applicant has to complete. We have third-party engineers that review this to ensure that all the measures that the school district would like to implement on the project is paying for itself within its estimated useful life, and then the total payback is 15 years or less. And whatever the simple payback is, that's the loan term. We don't charge origination fees. We don't charge prepayment fees. And like I said, our interest rates are pretty low. We're at 2.5% right now for our interest rate for our loans. And so what the intent is for a borrower is to maintain their utility budget so that when you implement all of these savings measures, the utility cost goes down. And you take that delta between your baseline, which is what they established in their utility budget, and their post retrofit, and that delta pays for the principal and interest of the loans. Now, there are a lot of instances where some school districts will oversave, and they'll pay back early, which we're fine with that because we want to recycle the dollars. And there are instances where if a measure, let's say, didn't qualify for the loan because it didn't pay for itself within the estimated useful life, the school district could contribute funds to that particular measure to get it down to where it pays for itself within the estimated useful life. But we limit that, how much that can be, because if they contribute so much, it's just a maintenance project. It's no longer a capital efficiency retrofit project. But the intent, again, is to maintain that capital retrofit budget, take the dollars you save after the retrofit, use those dollars to pay the principal and interest of the loan. And so for the school district, they don't really see an out-of-pocket expense. It's an addition to what they had previously. They're just using those dollars.
How many employees work for your agency?
11.
11.
Yes, sir.
You're doing all this with 11 employees. And what is your state budget cost? How much state dollars are involved in your funding of the programs in your agency?
We have for the loan program, we have 2 FTEs and 1.5 accountants managing the program. And then for our GR, like I said, we have $400,000 GR is what we use. And then everything else is a direct cost to the grants or the awards that we receive from the federal funding. So we pay our staff out of the federal funds that we receive.
So if federal funds were reduced, then you have the ability to reduce or eliminate the programs and downsize your office accordingly.
If federal funds were reduced, since most of our staff is federally funded, yes, it would have consequences.
Members of the committee, I will say that Corey Castillo is here. He's a resource he's with the Controller's office. If members of the committee want to ask any questions from the Controller about any of this testimony, then we can have Corey come up. Members, any other questions? Betty? Okay. Well, Eddie, thank you for your testimony.
Well, thank you for allowing me to come up here and talk about our State Energy Conservation Office. I'm very, very proud of what we do.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now we're going to move on to our second witness. The chair calls Chairman Christy Craddock.